10 Best Picks presents the top 10 best 4K monitors. Starting at number 10. LG 32UL 500W. The LG 32UL 500W is a good budget-friendly 4K monitor. It gives you plenty of screen space for multitasking, and it delivers incredibly sharp images and text. It's better suited for a dark to moderately lit room, as it can produce deep blacks but doesn't get bright enough to overcome glare. The viewing angles are adequate and should be fine for sharing text documents. However, there's still some loss of image accuracy when viewing from the side, so it's not the best option if you need to share work that requires precise color reproduction. It has low input lag and variable refresh rate support if you want to game on it, but the response time is a bit slow, which results in blurrier images in fast-moving scenes. Unfortunately, the ergonomics are terrible as it only allows for tilt adjustment, and even though it supports HDR, it doesn't get bright enough to make highlights pop. The LG 32UL 500W has a good contrast ratio to produce deep blacks, making it ideal for dark rooms. It's slightly lower than the advertised 3001 contrast. However, this can vary between individual units. The LG 32UL 500W has OK SDR peak brightness. There's no brightness variation when displaying different content, but it isn't quite bright enough to combat glare, so it's best suited for a dark to moderately lit room. This is lower than the advertised 300 candelas square meter. The LG 32UL 500W is a good monitor overall. It has a large screen and 4K resolution that make it a good option for work and media consumption. However, it's hard to place the screen the way you like because it has terrible ergonomics. Also, glare might be an issue because it doesn't get very bright. It has low input lag and VRR support for gaming, but the response time is a bit slow, so images look a bit blurry in fast-moving scenes. Unfortunately, it can't deliver a true HDR experience due to its low HDR peak brightness. At number 9. Samsung U32R592. The Samsung UR59C is currently one of our best 4K gaming monitors for those seeking a curved display. It recently got a price drop from $500 and is currently selling for around $450. The refresh rate unfortunately maxes out at 60 Hz, and there is no adaptive sync. That's a bit of a bummer for gamers, but to be fair, Samsung doesn't market the UR59C as a gaming monitor. To its credit, it has a snappy 4 milliseconds response time, and our tests showed it to have lower input lag than most other 60 Hz UHD monitors we've tested. The base and upright must be assembled with a captive bolt, then the panel is attached using a Phillips head screwdriver. The power supply is external, but rather than the usual brick, you get a large wall wart, which is narrow enough not to impede other plugs on a power strip. The only other cable is an HDMI. There are no USB ports, hence, no more cables. The UR59C is simple and understated while being distinctly Samsung. Its 1,500mm curve radius sounds tight on paper, but since it's not an ultra-wide, the curve seems less extreme in person. There's no image distortion, and the curve is quite natural, bringing in the sides of the screen in a natural way, and just enough to keep the entire desktop within your peripheral vision, if sitting about 3 feet away. The Samsung UR59C leaves out a few features to achieve its budget 4K price. But it makes up for that with stunning image quality and solid gamma play when driven by a fast graphics card. Number 8 of my list. LG 43UD79B. The LG 43UD79 is a decent 4K monitor with an IPS panel. The high resolution and large 43 size is good for multitaskers as it allows viewing multiple documents side by side. The IPS panel has a low native contrast ratio, so blacks appear gray in a dark room, but the image also remains accurate when viewed from up close. The motion handling is decent, although it doesn't feel as fluid or responsive as other monitors with higher refresh rates. The design of the LG 43UD79B is decent. The base of the stand is rectangular and doesn't look like other LG monitors. It will give you a hard time to position it exactly as you want it as the ergonomics are almost non-existent. You will be better off VESA mounting it. On other aspects of the design, the build quality is good, and you shouldn't have any issues with it. The stand is sturdy and supports the monitor well. It has a fairly large footprint for the monitor's size, but this shouldn't be a problem on most tables. The build quality is good with no gaps or loose ends. The frame is almost entirely plastic and feels good. The monitor has a disappointing contrast ratio. The LG 43UD79 isn't a monitor for use in a dark room as it can't really reproduce deep blacks. However, this shouldn't be an issue for a brighter room and is on par with other IPS monitors. The LG 43UD79 is a decent monitor for mixed usage. It has good viewing angles that make suitable for a wide room, but blacks are not deep, and it isn't great in dim environments. It has a great low input lag, and this is great for gaming. It has picture-in-picture beside picture features that can make great use of its large size. Coming at number 7. LG 34WK95UW. The LG 34WK95UW is a good 5K IPS LED monitor with good picture quality. It can get very bright in SDR, and it can also display HDR content decently, but unfortunately, when viewed in dark room, blacks will look grayish due to the mediocre contrast ratio and the bad local dimming. It has a large size screen and excellent resolution. It has a low input lag that makes it very responsive to your actions, but it is not flicker-free and does not support any variable refresh rate implementation to please serious gamers. The monitor has a local dimming feature that works both in SDR and in HDR modes. Unfortunately, it cannot always help blacks look deeper since the monitor is edge-lit, and thus the local dimming zones are vertical bands. This causes blooming in the entire band when only a small portion of the screen needs to be bright, like in the case of subtitles. This is very similar to the Dell U3219Q. The LG 34WK85U has great SDR peak brightness. It has the best peak brightness from the LG monitors we've tested so far. It can fight bright room glare, and it will do great in bright office. The LG 34WK95UW is a good monitor for most uses. It is bright enough for a bright office, and it has wide viewing angles that allow you to easily share your work. It has a low input lag to please gamers and a fast response time to display fast content with little blur. However, its defining feature is its size and large resolution that allows you to display more on the screen. At number 6. HP Omen X Imperium. Monitor manufacturers often strive to put every premium technology into a single display. But what if all that performance came in a 65-inch screen? We're talking about the almost mythical BFGDs that a few companies announced at CES 2018. Finally, a year and change later, one of these monstrous monitors has officially arrived in the form of the HP Omen X65 Imperium. This 65-inch wonder features a high-contrast, UHD, VI panel, HDR, DCI-P3 color, a full-array local dimming 1000 nit backlight, NVIDIA's G-Sync screen smoothing tech, 144Hz refresh, and both NVIDIA Shield Android TV console and a 120-watt soundbar built in. The best HDR displays these days have a fold backlight capable of 1000 nits brightness and a quantum dot film delivering the DCI-P3 color gamut. The Omen X65 Imperium has both. Why don't just get a 65-inch smart TV like the Vizio Peak U65 F1 instead? The short answer is because that TV tops out at 60 Hz and doesn't have adaptive refresh technology like G-Sync or FreeSync. You also get killer sound and versatile media playback with the Imperium, thanks to the soundbar and NVIDIA Shield streaming platform. The Imperium starts with a VI panel, unlike the flagship Acer Predator X27 and Asus ROG Swift PG27U monitors which rely on IPS parts. The backlight is a 384-zone LED array with a quantum dot film that ensures good coverage of the DCI-P3 color gamut. If all that wasn't enough, HP includes a 120-watt soundbar integrated into the panel's bottom edge for booming built-in sound that takes monitor audio into audiophile territory with high output, low distortion and wide frequency response, from deep bass to detailed treble. There is nothing available in early 2019 that can top the HP Omen X65 Imperium. It takes big screen gaming to another level with killer HDR, accurate color and premium performance, with NVIDIA Shield and high-quality audio baked in. Once you've seen one in action, you won't care what it costs. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Halfway of my listed number 5. LG 32UD 99W. The LG 32UD 99W is a good IPS monitor with a great 4K resolution, wide viewing angles, and an excellent low input lag. It supports FreeSync variable refresh rate technology, but has very few additional gaming features, and some gamers will be disappointed by the limited 60Hz refresh rate. It supports HDR and displays a wide color gamut, but it's limited by the mediocre HDR peak brightness as it fails to bring out highlights. Much like the 27UK 650, the 32UD 99W has a sleek and modern design with an all-white back that fits nicely into an office environment. The stand is large, and the curved shape prevents you from placing larger objects directly in front of the monitor. The monitor wobbles significantly, even typing on a nearby keyboard causes the screen to shake noticeably. It's slightly better than the LG 32UL 950. Mediocre HDR peak brightness. It doesn't get bright enough to bring out highlights and make colors pop, and it doesn't remain consistent when different types of content flash across the screen. As is the case with most IPS panel monitors, the 32UD 99W has good horizontal viewing angles. This is good if you need to share your screen with coworkers or friends. The LG 32UD 99W is a good monitor for most uses. It's a great office monitor thanks to its 32-inch 4K screen, which is great for multitasking, and it has a sleek and modern style. Fast motion looks crisp thanks to the good response time, and it has an excellent low input lag. Unfortunately, some gamers will be disappointed by the 60Hz refresh rate. However, it has wide viewing angles, good for sharing your screen with others. Coming in at number 4 of my list. Dell U3219Q. When people shop for productivity panels, it seems there's always a trade-off. Whether it's opting for a dual or triple monitor setup that leaves big plastic bezels in the middle of their workflow, or shelling out for an ultra-wide display that limits vertical space in favor of laying more windows side by side, sometimes the only compromise is to go big or go home. And that's exactly what the $1,099 Dell UltraSharp 32 4K USB-C monitor does. This business-centric 32-inch 4K HDR monitor goes above and beyond work detail to fulfill its role in the office or at home. Great for handling daily tasks, while on the clock at jobs, where color accuracy is important, or just getting in a little gaming at night, this all-rounder proves that one monitor really can handle almost every job you throw its way. As long as you don't mind paying a little extra for the flexibility. Because the U3219Q is a business pro monitor, it's not surprising to see that it has a wide number of adjustment options that will fit anyone's desk or specific use case. If there's one area that can really make or break the experience of using a monitor, in my experience, it's the on-screen display menu. When I can find one, a 5-way joystick is my preferred method of navigation, but I can do without one if the buttons used in its place are intuitive enough to get me around without thinking too much. Luckily, the 4 buttons used to work through the U3219Q's menus serve their roles perfectly, thanks in part to Dell's clever management of how they handle the job. Dell's UltraSharp 32 U3219Q is a big, beautiful 4K display aimed squarely at the business set, but it could still find a home on any gamer's desk with, we suspect, no complaints. At number 3. Philips BDM 4350 UC43 To paraphrase Paul Hogan in the iconic 1986 movie Crocodile Dundee, that's not a monitor, this is a monitor. The Philips Brilliance BDM 4350 UC is a 43-inch monster gaming display aimed at those who aspire to 4K and want to be able to see the extra details when they run in this mode from across the room. These project about 10 centimeters from the panel, limiting how close to a wall you can get the monitor, although the screen does also have VESA 200 mounting holes for those who like wall mounts or desk pillars. There are 5 video inputs, 2 DisplayPort 1. 2 connectors, another pair of HDMI 2.0 ports, and a wholly nostalgic VGA port. Why VGA was included is a mystery, because that interface doesn't support 4K resolutions, and any video card with only that connection available would be hard-pressed to offer decent performance at 1080p. Up to 4 of the inputs can be used at once should you have 4 1080p systems that you'd like to see picture-in-picture. Along with the video inputs, there are also audio jacks and a full USB 3.0 hub with 4 ports. The BDM4350UC is something of a mixed bag, with big screen gaming at one end and average metrics at the other. If you must have a 4K screen that everyone can easily see from a distance, then this is it. However, using it as a general-purpose display is less desirable. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Coming at number 2, Asus VP28 UC. When it comes to your home office screen, a lot of compromises have to be made. If you're looking to future-proof, it makes sense to invest in a monitor with 4K resolution. But the best 4K gaming monitors come at a hefty price. The Asus VP28 UGQ is so easy to put together that you won't even need a tool belt, never mind a toolbox. You simply insert the panel into the thick stem sticking out of the circular base, paying attention to alignment. A screw with a handle makes it easy to tighten by hand. I used a screwdriver to make sure things were as tight as possible. The Asus VP28 UGQ's circular plastic stand has rings all around it, like an old tree trunk. But unlike a tree trunk, it doesn't feel very thick, and the monitor can get a little wobbly when typing aggressively. Thankfully, the monitor didn't seem like it was in danger of falling over. The stand allows for a 5-degree backward tilt or 20 degrees forward. There is no height adjustments or portrait mode. If you don't like the stand, you can use the Asus VP28 UGQ with a 100x 100mm VESA wall mount. Asus markets the VP28 UGQ toward gamers, so the OSD includes some gaming-friendly features. If you turn on Game Plus mode, you'll get a large pop-up menu with the options to bring up a crosshair, timer, FPS counter and display alignment for multi-monitor setups. The OSD also always informs you of image mode, input, resolution and refresh rate, so there's no confusion. A good value, the Asus VP28 UQG enables casual 4K gaming for rigs with budget graphics cards. But like most Tennessee panels, it lacks contrast, resulting in a washed-out image. Serious gamers will want to look elsewhere. And number 1. Acer Nitro VG270K. The Acer Nitro VG271 MIUPS is a good 27 IPS monitor with a 1080p resolution and 144Hz refresh rate. It has excellent low input lag and outstanding motion handling, making it a great choice for gaming. It delivers decent picture quality overall, with great peak brightness, excellent gray uniformity, and wide viewing angles. Unfortunately, like the majority of IPS monitors, it doesn't look as good in a dark room. It also has a very basic stand, with bad ergonomics, so it might be difficult to place in an ideal viewing position. The stand is quite small, leaving lots of room in front of the display for small objects. Unfortunately, it wobbles quite a bit when nudged. Decent peak brightness in HDR, slightly better than the Gigabyte Aorus AD27QD. Small highlights in dark scenes stand out, but in bright scenes they aren't as bright as they should be. For HDR to work, you have to choose the HDR picture mode and set the HDR setting to either auto or HDR 400. For the purposes of our testing, we chose the HDR 400 setting. Overall, the Acer Nitro VG271 is a good monitor for most uses. It has wide viewing angles, great peak brightness, and great uniformity. It is a very good monitor for gaming, as it has low input lag and a fast response time. Although it supports HDR, it can't get bright enough and can't display a wide color gamut, so it isn't great for HDR gaming. For more information and price, check out the product links in description underneath the video. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel, share this video and hit the like button.